Welcome back to Mud Lake Ranch. Today we're here with the Weaponries Scy. This is a bullpup chassis for your mil-spec AR-15. So inside of this bullpup chassis, you're going to find a standard mil-spec AR-15 lower topped with a BRN 180 Gen 2 upper. The BRN 180 deserves its own review, but for the purpose of this video, we'll glaze over what exactly that is. Now you'll notice that the lower is back here as well as your magazine. This magazine is pinned, so it's New York State compliant, cannot be removed, and we are using the Cross Armory magazine pin system, or magazine retention system. Does not allow you to drop the mag. It is blue Loctited and permanently installed into this gun. Up front here we have the front side of the bullpup chassis, which has a standard AR-15 grip. Normally your grip would be back here, and your buffer in stock will be back here. This is a 16-inch barrel on this upper, and up front here you have a flat trigger on the bullpup chassis that this AR-15 is riding in. Back here we have a threaded adapter that goes into where your buffer tube normally sits. That has a Picatinny rail in the back, and then this short stock that fits onto your Picatinny rail is called the stave. This is also from Weaponries. So you're gonna, like, Jared, please just start shooting this gun. No, we're not getting there yet. Anyway, this is not loaded currently. The bolt is open, and we have a lot more to cover because this gun is quite in depth. At the lower front of the stave buttstock, you'll find a QD cup so that you can attach your sling, as well as a QD cup on the Picatinny rail adapter. The Picatinny rail adapter I picked up from Primary Arms. I'm an affiliate of theirs. A link is on mudlakeranch.com/links. On the opposite side of the gun, you'll see that there are two safeties. The safety at the rear of the gun and a safety up towards the front. The rear safety is the safety for the mil-spec trigger that is installed on the AR-15 lower to the rear of this firearm. That trigger is a mil-spec trigger with no safety guard, and the bullpup chassis snaps around it. There is a transfer bar up to another trigger mechanism at the front that this safety operates. It does pull fairly hard, so trigger up here, trigger in the rear, transfer bar makes this part go boom. Now, your ejection port is very close to your face on this gun. So you're going to want to wear safety glasses when you're firing this firearm, as with all guns, but you're going to want to be doubly sure that you have your glasses on when firing with the ejection port this close to your face. This BRN 180 Gen 2 upper will ship to your door in most states. It works with most AR-15 platforms. You'll notice it doesn't have a buffer tube. So this gun can run with a bufferless system using the stave and the Picatinny rail adapter. It also can run with a buffered system using the Deadfoot Arms super short buffer tube system. It's a nested spring with its own proprietary spring and buffer assembly that allows you to shorten the buffer up to about this long. So you get a slightly longer length of pull with that system. I have that in the gun room, and I may show an example of that. I don't know if I'll have time or a upper to spare for that demonstration, but you can run this with a bufferless upper or a buffered upper. Now, how does the BRN 180 actually operate? The BRN 180 has dual guide rods and a proprietary or its own bolt carrier group, and it's different than the one that you have in your mil-spec AR-15. We'll leave it at that. Up front, I have a hand guard here to prevent your hand from going too far forward because of muzzle flash heat, and you don't want to blow your mittens off. So, just about got everything covered on this gun. This is a pin 10 round mag, although it looks like a standard capacity 20. In New York State, we aren't allowed to have those. And this is a permanently pinned, fixed, sold at retail at 10 rounds hex mag. So we're all compliant there. Now the gun's detached. You're probably wondering, how do you do this thing, or how do you take it apart? So to load normally with a pin mag, you would have to break open the AR-15, open the pivot pin, load from the top, or use a speed loader, from Mean Arms or something like that. This does work with the Mean Arms MA loader. So you snap that in, push the rounds in, you don't have to take it apart. I have not tried it with other brands of speed loading mechanisms. I do have another to test, but I haven't tried it. To disassemble this, you would pop 1, 2, 3, 4 pins, and then the upper separates from the lower and the chassis. We're not going to do that for this video. This pin here is slightly recessed with a groove, so that one's kind of a pain to get to. My fingers are too fat for that hole. I have to use a brass punch or something to separate the upper from the lower, but we're looking at a wicked short chassis. Super fun to shoot. I have shot this only one time, test fired. It was magnificent and fun. I shot it in a snowstorm, actually. Now up top, Swamp Fox Optics, thank you for providing the optics for today's video. This is the Swamp Fox Raider 1-20 micro prism red dot. And that is a battery operated red dot. Is not a shake awake design. Hopefully I didn't leave the battery on, but I tend to do that, so luckily I'm out here checking it out. So any questions, drop those in the comments below. I think I covered everything on this gun. So yeah, any standard mil-spec AR-15 upper, any standard mil-spec AR-15 lower, and you are ready to get rolling with the Reap Weaponry Bullpup chassis system. Depending on if you're doing buffered or bufferless. The Deadfoot Arms short chassis system is a little on the expensive side. That thing runs around $450, I believe, $400. If I'm wrong, just crucify me in the comments. This system, although the BRN 180 costs more than some of your cheaper uppers, this stave is 50 bucks. The aluminum one I think is 100, and the adapter is $50. Doll hairs, 50 credits for the approximately 50, 60, 70 credits for this adapter. So this isn't an inexpensive venture should you decide that you would like to assemble something like this, or if you would like to get into the AR-15 bullpup action. All right, so let's get some rounds down range. Fun. But you'll see that target's about 6 inches above the ground. We have a snowpack that I'm standing on right now of about 4 to 5 feet. You didn't ask for the weather report, but we got over, I think, 300 inches of snow here, which, quick math, 25 to 29 feet of snow have fallen in our area throughout the winter with settling, etc. We're sitting on a snowpack that's pretty significant, and I'm walking on 4 feet of snow without any problem. And it's obviously warm temperatures today. I can hear the red-winged blackbirds are singing, and this is our favorite time of year, just before mud season, where we can enjoy the snow. The sun has not been seen for months. Let's get shooting this gun. Safety 1, safety 2. We are ready to fire. Safety 1, safety 2. That was a lot of fun. Open, safe, we're ready to go. Gun is open and unloaded. All right, this wasn't a review, this is more of a show and tell, but what do I think of the Reap Weaponries Bullpup chassis? This thing is absolutely fantastic, and there's things you really can't compare to other guns. So like, of course you're gonna have a less than satisfactory trigger pull when you're running a transfer bar from the front to the back. Like, that's insane, you know. I do love the flat trigger though. The flat trigger is quite attractive. It's the only flat trigger I'm running currently. The BRN 180 upper on its own needs its own review, but as you can tell, I probably like it a lot. But the chassis system's pretty dope. It shortens this gun up so much. It's incredible. I mean, and it wasn't that bad having the shells eject this close to your face. One thing I'm encountering is I'm getting a little too close to the optic, and we're about as far away as possible unless I flipped that mount, but I don't want to do that. I can see through it just fine. I'm just getting a little brim action that is not necessary, you know. The two safeties is kind of annoying, but I'm okay with it. I mean, it's more for me like a range toy. I would really like to run a magnifier up front, and my first intention was to run a primary arms with the magnifier, which I have both of those, but I don't have the base for the magnifier. I reached out, it did not get here, so we just opted for one of my favorite brands, Swamp Fox, who's very supportive of the channel. But the front, you can't really, it's the shortest buttstock you can see on an AR-15, so it's got some points. Loosening up a bit. This adapter actually uses an Allen key to thread it in, so it's not, you don't actually spin this, you don't actually spin the adapter, you set the adapter in and it turns the threads that are attached to this. They must be nested freely so that you can tighten it down, and it spins freely of the actual thing. That needs to be tightened down. It's loosening up a whisker. Big fan that it has options to run bufferless or buffered systems. Ease of assembly. Now, didn't want to get into assembly. There's lots of videos on how to actually do this, and I'm not going to do one because Reap did a great job on their own video about how to do this. It is a complicated process, but once you've done it, I had to take this apart once already for a slight adjustment. You can adjust the transfer bar to the trigger. That's not what I'm talking about, but I had to make a slight adjustment after almost complete assembly. And then you got to deal with removing the grip screw in the rear that doesn't actually have a grip, safeties because they go through both pieces of the clamshell here. What a wicked gun, and it's going to look amazing in the gun vault on the wall. All your friends are going to want to know about this thing, and I suggest the BRN 180 versus any other, you know, just plain mil-spec upper with the extra short buffer tube, because the BRN 180 is a talking point all in itself. Being self-contained, you could shoot it with a folded stock if you had the option to shoot with a folded stock. In New York, they really don't like that crap. So this is a fantastic firearm, and I'm really happy to review it on the channel. I'm going to give Reap their engineering that went into this thing. They should be very proud of it, and I'm proud to be handling it and shooting it currently. What a fine gun. I love it. So thank you to Reap Weaponry for providing the Bullpup chassis. Thank you to Brownell's for providing the BRN 180 upper. Thank you to Swamp Fox for providing the optic. And I supported my own ammo today. I need to get this sighted in, but we haven't had much range time, and we haven't had much time to stick around with actually sighting stuff in. So I just wasted quite a few rounds just for fun, just for you guys. So if you'd like to thank me for wasting my own ammo, filming a video out in the Arctic snow, and if you found this video useful, helpful, or interesting, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe.